Welcome back, squad. Looking at some deep sleepers. Let's get into it. Welcome back, squad. Like I said, some deep sleepers for you. None of these guys are guys you should really be drafting, but guys you can take off the waiver wire after your draft. Again, these are guys that probably won't finish top 10, top 5 at their position, but they have the upside to be better than where you take them, which is free. So let's get into it. Up first, he's going at QB 20, Tyler Shough for the Saints. He is the starter for the Saints. In his last 5, he had one game below 250 passing yards. And while he didn't show anything super crazy, he didn't put up any 5-touchdown games. There is still that potential for him to do well with Chris Olave. They drafted that wide receiver, that Tyson guy. They have Travis Etienne. This offense is kind of coming into its own, which is nice to see. It just depends on Tyler taking that next step with the team. And at QB 20, that's a great price. You're getting him around guys like Baker Mayfield or Malik Willis, who I'm also tempted by, not as a starter, but as like a QB2 and kind of see where it goes. Him and Malik are really tempting for me in that range. I really like that late QB backup 2 guy, because if you take someone like Lamar who could get hurt, Jaden Daniels, something like that, it's nice to have a backup. Still weighing the odds on that, but yeah, like the Saints QB here. Up next, moving to running back, we have JCM, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. He's going at RB 41 in the low 40s right now, and he has a new offensive coordinator. He had a 40% snap share, which isn't amazing, but Austin Eckler tore his Achilles. I don't actually know where he is right now. They did pick up Rachaad White, who's going to be the pass catching, I think, third down guy. But if you've seen Rachaad White, he doesn't really move quick. He's not like a fast running back. I don't see him getting anything crazy beyond like the goal line and then the pass blocking downs. This is going to be a committee in my mind. And again, I don't foresee JCM being top 15 or top 20, but I could see top 30, top 25. Now, there's always a chance this is an ugly committee with Jerome Ford signing there and they drafted that rookie. But again, at RB 41, is it that crazy that you get a guy who could potentially start and get you valid fantasy points? No. Again, if he sucks, you just drop him. So JCM. On to wide receiver, and we got a bunch of wideouts. First one up is Adonai Mitchell. He's coming in a wide receiver 71 right now, low 70s, and his offense goes from Justin Fields to Geno Smith. It's like a 180. Adonai Mitchell averaged almost 3 yards of separation per target that he got on the field, which is nuts. Obviously, is that a fantasy football relevant stat? Not really. And over the end of the year, he was in the mid 80s for a snap share. Yes, that included guys like John Benchie, who was up there, and they drafted a tight end and they drafted a wideout. There is that competition, but if you're believing in someone in this Jets offense who's not Garrett Wilson and you want someone cheap besides a rookie, Mitchell is the guy to go with. I could definitely see a breakout year this year, and again, wide receiver 71, you're not drafting him. Give it a few weeks, see how he does. If he sucks, drop his butt, or if he's on the field 40% of the time, drop his booty. Adonai Mitchell. This one might be my favorite one. It's Wan'Dale Robinson on the Titans. Almost all of these stats are going to be from last year on the Giants, so take that with a grain of salt because it's the Giants moving to the Titans. But he averaged 8.8 targets a game last season, and he had a 91% snap share, which put him in the top 10 at wide receiver. New York used him in the slot, not all the time, but over 50%, which is nice to see, and I would love to see that with the Titans. And I don't think it will be anything crazy, like he won't be an 80% slot guy, but I think that like 50 to 60 range feels about right, and I like him in the slot. Wan'Dale has always been high targets, low yards guy, so if the yards go up or the targets go slightly down, I think it's okay as long as he's getting his role in the offense. Yes, they drafted Tate. Yes, they still have Calvin Ridley, but I think his offense will take a step forward, and Brian Daboll, the offensive coordinator, was with Wan'Dale in New York, so I feel good about that. Up next, I'm going to get some hot takes and pushback on this one. Jerry Jeudy for the Browns. He's going around wide receiver 70, which is egregiously bad, and there is some context for this. There is some if statements that you have to kind of go through. I would draft him. I would sign him if Deshaun Watson is not the starting quarterback, A, and B, we can see he's consistently on the field. He averaged 6.2 targets a game last year, and he had an 85% snap share, which is great to see, and they drafted a bunch of wideouts this year. I like Jeudy. I feel good about his spot. I just worry about the other rookie wideouts and this being like a gross committee where everyone gets like 4.5 targets a game. So that's possible for sure. But again, wide receiver 70, you're shooting darts at a dartboard. So Jerry Jeudy has some upside. We've seen some really good games with Jameis Winston. If Shedeur is quarterback there, I like him way more. If it's Deshaun Watson, I am out on everyone. everyone in this offense, and I'm going to go live in a hole. So don't take him if that's the case. But wide receiver 70, I'm going to throw him on my bench for a few weeks, see how he does. And then my last and lowest wide receiver on this list, Darnell Mooney. Again, I know, wide receiver 76 right now. And his main reason is his snap share, which was 82% last year. Yes, he was on a different team. I understand that. Now he's with the Giants. And who the heck else do they have to throw to? They just signed OBJ and Juju to their like roster practice squad thingy. I don't know that they're going to play, but they did sign him, I think still. Mooney averaged just under 5 targets a game last year. And again, he's not crazy amazing. But with Jackson Dart there, I feel relatively okay about signing him and picking him up for free off waivers. Malik Neighbors is the one, but that's actually good for Mooney. I don't want Mooney to be the one in this offense. I want him to be the 2. So I think right now, between him and Darius Slayton, it's that competition for the wide receiver 2. You could take Darius Slayton, I suppose, but he's been unimpressive his whole career, where Mooney's been unimpressive for most of his career. So again, darts at a dartboard, but at wide receiver 76, it's a nice dart that I like to throw. And on to tight end, I have 2 guys for you. One is a pretty predictable one, Greg Dulcich for the Dolphins. He's going at tight end 24 right now, 24, 25 in that range. And he was on the field 42% of the time, but, and this argument is one I've heard before, who else are the Dolphins going to throw to? They have Malik Washington, they have Achane, a running back, and they have Greg. That might be it. I don't think they're going to be a good team. I think they're going to be losing a lot. Malik Willis isn't going to wow you as a passing quarterback, but I think for a shot in the dark tight end, Greg is not a terrible option. So again, I throw him on the bench. I just want to see him on the field the first couple weeks. I'm not starting him, obviously, but if the targets develop because he's on the field, different conversation. If he can get that snap share up to 60, 70%, would love to see that for him. And last but not least, depending on the situation, TJ Hawkinson. He kind of feels like the forgotten father. He's going at tight end 22, so just above Greg. He's coming another year removed from that ACL injury, which is nice to see. I have to say, if JJ McCarthy is the quarterback here, run and run and run fast and far from this offense, I wouldn't touch JJ. I wouldn't touch Aaron Jones. I would touch no one. Touching no men in this offense. If JJ is the quarterback, it's going to be one of those like Ferris wheels where it like slides and you think you're going to die for a minute, but then it like catches you. That's how it feels, except you won't get caught and you will actually die. Hawkinson had an 80% snap share last season, which is nice to see. JJ is really the only real other threat in my mind. I guess Addison, you could say, has a case. If Kyler Murray starts here, Murray has worked with Trey McBride. He's worked with Zach Ertz. Like, there is a lot of tight end history that I like to see. Hawkinson, another year removed from his injury. I like him even more. Again, he's a late draft guy. Good Lord. You see how he does for a few weeks. He's going to get on the field. It's just if he gets those targets or not. So if it's Kyler Murray, I'm really intrigued. If it's JJ McCarthy, I'm going to go find a forest and hide. Anyway, that's who I'm taking for my deep sleepers this year. Let me know who you're interested in. Maybe you also are running in a forest from JJ McCarthy like me. Fantasy season is upon us soon. We'll talk to you later. Peace out.